I wanted to share some thoughts that I have about honesty, as this has been coming up a lot for me in my experience in recent days. So the easy part about honesty is cash register honesty, honesty that is rooted in perception, which is, what preferences are. Preferences are perception. Like, I prefer this over this. I prefer my eggs fried versus scrambled. But I'm not talking about that kind of honesty. I'm talking about the kind of honesty which absolutely starts from a thorough scan of my mind. And the difficult part is, in this human existence, my measuring stick for honesty as a human being is perception. It cannot not be as a human being. The problem is if I'm not a human being, which is, I am not a human being. I've renounced that idea about being a human being, because a human being is really just a problem-solving, causing computer. So I hope that makes sense to you. It does to me. And I realize that the more problems I solve, the more problems I create, because that's the basis of my existence as a human being. And so I don't want that anymore. It's too painful for me. I see it's a whack-a-mole situation. I'm always taking care of one problem, and then I'm going to have 3 other problems that come up, and it's a constant wheel of misery. So if I am starting from the starting place that I am a human being, I'm already royally fucked, royally. Because in truth, I am not a limitation. I am not a body. I am not a limited computer covered in flesh that is just a series of memories and experiences in form, which have really, for all of my life, told me what I am, and I've now been shown that that's not what I am. So, how do I get rid of that? How do I shed that identity so I can begin to be honest? Because if I came from bodies, I am a body, and I'm going to perish, and I'm going to be reunited with earth as ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And that is the human experience as a body. And that is not what God, Jesus, any awakened mind has shown me. And so I am now in a full-time dedication for the pursuit of learning only what is true and disregarding what is false, setting it aside, saying that is not me anymore, because the me that I've made, which I've blogged on, whatever you call it, is just a set of roles, identities, limitations, etc. And so now I'm doing a full-time practice of the discovery of what the capital S self is. And it's slowly but surely dawning upon me, and it's making me realize I do not want what I have made of myself. I want what God has made of me in perfection, which is a perfect thought in the mind of God, as it's explained in A Course in Miracles. And in non-duality, it's just formlessness, limitlessness, universality, truth, singularity, etc. So it's really blaringly obvious to me when I start seeing the manifestations of dishonesty. It all comes from the origin of not knowing what I am. And one brother who gave an incredible meditation and session the other day said, it's not about finding out who you are, it's finding about where you are. And I love that, because if I reside in the heart of God, I don't have to worry about who, because who requires labeling and naming and limiting and all of those things. So my directive is to remember where I am, and where I am and where you are is only one place, which is the heart of God. And that's where the idea of singularity makes sense to me, not through the intellectual mind insanity, but the heart space. And that's where, I am hoping to come to you each time I do a post. It's, this unfolding of recognition of the truth of who I am. And so that requires some really deep self-examination as it is presented to me through what I perceive as other people's lies. And I'm really starting to get really good at seeing how people lie. And it's not for me to judge them, how people are lying. It's for me to see that I recognize a lie is taking place. And the reason I know it's taking place is because I've done something very similar in the past, which is self-deception in order to cope with the world as it is made in limitation. So self-examination requires me to look at the lies that I perceive in other people, which I call the brothers, and say, how is this me? Why does this provoke a charge in me? When somebody lies about what they're doing, they're actually, it's not even about, lying about my weight on a driver's license. It's about really looking at what is igniting a charge in me of judgment of somebody, of another, and seeing, where have I done this in myself? And when I'm able to recognize that, there is a moment of extreme pain and discomfort, and then there is a release. It's a release that I don't have to identify with a lie anymore. And so self-honesty is the origin of telling the truth to all. And so, that's the goal here. Showing up and looking at my crap and seeing how I am triggered by actions, words, and deeds of others, and to identify that as a very deep, dark space within me that either I have looked at to some degree or have hidden because it is a dark space that I have projected outside of me. So the focus for me, it's about being honest so that I can show up absolutely authentically. And I don't mean authentically as I have made myself. I mean authentically about where I am, which is in the heart of God. So really happy to have my mighty companions being in this place with me, and having you show me through whatever's going on in the present moment. That's what I need to look at. So that's what I'm up to. I hope you guys have an amazing day of self-examination.